Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the first Europa League build-up of the season. Yes, Rangers versus Genk, which kicks off in about 45 minutes. And joining myself, Martin, for this is my co-host, Connor. Connor, how are you?
Aye, not bad, aye. Obviously, as we're having a chat off air there, we're not sure how I feel about tonight. I don't know that I feel any real confidence. I just feel uncertainty, I think is probably the word, because I don't know how we're going to perform tonight. I don't know if we're going to turn up like we did, for example, against Pilsen, which is probably one of our better performances under Russell Martin, or if it's going to go the way it did against Bruges. I have no idea. I genuinely don't have a clue. So it's very interesting, and I am at least a little bit looking forward, even if with slight trepidation. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it is going to unfold.
Yes, and do you know what? I'm actually looking forward to seeing if we can get the service to him, what Chermiti can do for the start, to be honest. I know that that's a bit of contention for some people. They're not too happy that Miovski's been rotated, not dropped. I don't think we can really say dropped when it comes to Miovski. But there is a few people who are a bit perplexed by the starting lineup. I mean, Cammy, that team has me racking my brain. Sean's just simply saying better win. I agree with that, Sean. But I tell you what we'll do. We'll hear for Russell Martin first. We'll get that out of the road, right? We'll hear what he's got to say before the game, and then me and Connor will come back and we'll discuss it. So, apologies, folks. I imagine saying apologies, Connor, when you're about to hear for the manager of your football club.
Before a game, by the way, before a game start, not after a bad result where you don't really want it, but before a game.
Before a game. So let's hear pre-match thoughts from the Rangers manager, Russell Martin.
Russell, Europa League night at Ibrox, always a special occasion. How excited are you in the squad for this one?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Start of our European campaign, obviously, after the qualifiers. So I think we're looking forward to it. We're going to try and build on the performance and the result we had on Saturday, which was a really good one for us. Now we have to take another step to where we want to be by winning the game and putting the performance we're happy with.
Yeah, just on Saturday, what did you enjoy about that performance and what do you want to see from your side tonight?
Well, the level of control, the level of courage to take the ball always, the movement for each other to be available for the ball. And we were patient, but we were quick and we were aggressive about it. So we grew into the game. Tonight we have to start the game well and build on it, like I said. So putting a performance that we're happy with and wins the game.
Just on your team, obviously, Yusuf Chermiti comes in his first start for the club. What is your thinking behind that one?
I think you analyse the opposition and also you put into context the performances we've had. Boyan's done great since he's come in. And then scored, which was great on Saturday, and it looked a bit tired. He's gone from not much football to a lot of football, a lot of minutes, and he's done brilliantly. So you assess things. We have 3 games this week. Yusuf's trained brilliantly. They're pushing each other really hard, along with Danny as well. So I just felt it was the right change for us to make tonight.
Yeah, and just lastly, what sort of challenge do you expect from Genk?
I think regardless of them, with big respect to them because they're a good team, had a good season last season. They've had a frustrating start like us. But we have to turn into the game that we want. So the players are really aware of their threat. The players are also really aware of what can help us win tonight. And now they have to carry it out like they did on Saturday. So we need to try and turn it into the game that we want to and very quickly.
Is that a fair point, Connor, about Miovski not played a lot of football? He's basically played every game since he's came to the football club. Big, massive game on Sunday. It's a game that we have to win, no excuses. Is he quite right in your eyes, to even though Miovski did get his first goal at the weekend there, to rotate him?
I get it. I do. I do get it. I think timing could be better. As you say, he's just got his first goal. Just a few days ago at the weekend. You would feel that should mean his confidence would be high. He'd be hungry to get out there and get another. But I get it also because he's right that Miovski hasn't played an awful lot of minutes. He didn't play an awful lot at Girona, particularly towards the latter stages of his time there. But there's also another factor I think people have to bear in mind. You don't sign a striker for £8 million to never start him. He was going to start at some point, Chermiti, and maybe in parts because of what he said there about Miovski not playing, but also in parts, think about Sunday. Who's going to be better suited to playing in that plastic pitch for the start? Probably Miovski, because he's experienced that exact pitch, not even just pitches like it, but that exact. So he knows what to expect going there. Whereas Chermiti, he's maybe thinking, not so sure. And if he's aligning all that together and going, well, I don't want to be starting Miovski 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row if he's not quite ready yet. So let's start Chermiti tonight, and then Miovski gets to start at the weekend. I honestly, genuinely do believe that's exactly what will happen. And listen, it's an opportunity for Chermiti to really show what he can do. And yes, test. We all know Chermiti hasn't played a lot in the last 2 years either. That's not the point we're making. Chermiti also hasn't started the last 3 games in a row for Rangers. Miovski has. Since he came in, he's started every game. That's the point that's being made, that he's being rested because he's obviously still catching up. Chermiti is starting tonight. He hasn't played in a while, but because he's not started the last 3 games, presumably Russell Martin, because bear in mind, he picked the team, no me and Martin. Clearly that's what he thinks. But I think that's it. And we'll see. But it's an opportunity for Chermiti. Go and show what he can do. If he can get himself into positions, get a chance, maybe get a goal, would be nice. I think he should have scored, if I'm being brutally honest, Martin, at the weekend against Hibs. I think he had a great chance when he basically gets through 1-on-1. He's got to finish it, but maybe a player with more minutes in the legs and a bit more confidence about him, and he does score.
That was I don't know what noise that was there. Apologies for that, just random noise. I'm looking at it from a different point of view. I'm looking forward to seeing what Chermiti can do now when given the opportunity. Obviously, young boy, not played a lot of football. He's got a chance on the European stage now. He's came to us. We've paid a lot of money for him. And I'm looking at more from the point of view of he's got the chance to come in and stamp his authority. Their new signing scored for them last night up front. That'll give him the world of confidence. Why can't we bring in our new signing tonight? And why can't he get a goal or two and that'll lift his confidence? That's the way that I'm looking at it, Connor. I'm trying to.
Well, I think it's there's no doubt.
I would have agreed, Connor, with bringing Miovski out tonight anyway, just to give him a bit of a rest so that he's fresh for Sunday. Whether that meant Danilo or if he was still here, Dessers, I don't think Miovski would have played tonight anyway.
It's maybe the first example we're seeing of Russell Martin actually maybe thinking ahead a little bit, and because as we said there, it makes all the sense in the world that Miovski would start on Sunday against Livingston on a surface that he is familiar with and he has scored on as well. So he's had no real issues playing on it. If Miovski had started, because to put it in this context, if Miovski starts tonight, Martin, he wouldn't have started him again on Sunday. There's just no chance. So that's when he would have had to have started Chermiti or Danilo. And clearly, I imagine he probably hasn't fancied doing that. Now, if we get to Sunday and we're sitting in the build-up and the line-up says Chermiti is starting, then we've got egg in our face and Russell Martin also looks daft because why then would you start him tonight? You know what I mean? So I get that, right? We are all guessing games here.
Well, if he scores 2 goals tonight, Connor, if he scores 2 goals, then
maybe you do, yeah. I will prefix that by saying, yeah, what I mean is if he doesn't do that, then he starts. But there's also that element where they're going to rotate them throughout the campaign. Think about the 3 strikers we've got, right? You've got 2 who've not played an awful lot of games before they got to Rangers. Miovski a little bit more than Chermiti, so a bit sharper, and that's why he was able to get flung in for the start. And then you've got Danilo, who hasn't really hit the heights, who's struggling right now, I think, for confidence, and who also is slightly made of chocolate because he does manage to pick up injuries as well. So it's a difficult balance to maintain. And I think that's, and I'm not defending Russell Martin, believe me. I wish it was somebody else doing that pre-match comment there, but it wasn't. But I actually think on this occasion, it's probably sensible for Russell Martin.
Yeah, so they are. To be fair. And I don't like, as you know, to give Russell Martin that much credit. But let's
Personally,
take a look at
giving anybody with the name Martin credit just doesn't suit me.
it doesn't suit me either. It doesn't suit me either. Right, let's take a look at the starting lineup then. So it's Butland in goal, back four, Tav, Suter, Cornelius, and Migoma. A midfield three of Raskin, Diamande, and Asgard, and a front three of Moore, Gassam, and Chermiti. We've spoke Chermiti, we've spoke Majovski. Let's move over to the right-hand side, I think. It just depends on how Martin's feeling, I think. Mikey Moore keeps his place, Connor. There's been a lot of chat, obviously, in the build-up to this game that maybe this would be a good opportunity to bring Ant-Man or Finlay Curtis in, but he's stuck with Mikey Moore.
And this is where we depart the agreeing with Russell Martin train. That's not a decision I'd have made, no. I agree with what you said, and with the sentiment, I think a lot of fans that surely Ant-Man or Curtis would have been far better choices, considering the fact that both, in my opinion, have, when they have been playing, I think have shown a little bit more than Mikey Moore. And again, I'm not even a dig at Moore as such, because I actually don't think Mikey Moore's a bad player. However, he shouldn't be starting tonight. Again, let's not kid ourselves. You should have Ant-Man in for the start. My opinion is your European nights, because let's be fair, apart from Bruges, what we've seen from them in European nights, Gassama and Ant-Man have to be your two wingers when the European nights, or, you know, rotate that maybe with Curtis. That would be my preference, personally. So no, I think that's a risk, I must say, because I've not seen enough of Mikey Moore. Again, he's somebody who I think we need to start seeing something for him. Not just him, there's others that will come to me, but he's another one that needs to start showing us something, because all the hype he's came here with for Spurs, he's been bigged up so much at Spurs. We've been told how talented this young lad is. Start showing it. Because he's just not been doing it so far.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree, mate. And look, Mr. Baseman, Moore no more, what a joke. I don't want it to get to the point where fans start having a go at Mikey Moore himself. He's a young boy. He's 18 years of age. He's got a massive, massive future ahead of him. So he's got to be managed right, whatever club he's at. And I think it was a very, very easy decision for Russell Martin to either put Ant-Man or Curtis in there. And then if it's not working with Ant-Man or Curtis, then you can bring Moore on. I really do feel it was a relatively easy decision. However, as Ian White's saying, it might the European style of play, as in the way the opposition play, suit Moore a bit better, which is a decent point.
It absolutely is, yeah. Exactly that for me. But again, you know, these have been the pitfalls of Martin so far, and I think he's one of these people who he has his players, for want of a better term. I think he has the guys that he envisages as they're always going to start. They're the guys that he thinks can carry out his game plan, whatever it's supposed to be, because I don't think any of us really know. And so he sticks with them come hell or high water. But again, it's a risky strategy. It really is. And we'll see how it plays out. If Mikey Moore has a stinker tonight and things go wrong, then Russell Martin's going to have to answer serious questions about why he's made that decision.
And I do feel a wee bit for Finlay Curtis, because I don't think he's put a foot wrong in a Rangers shirt, Connor. And look, maybe this is what their plan is. Maybe it's going to be, look, Finlay, you're going to play this season, but it's going to be in certain games, and you're going to have a certain amount of rest between games and whatever. Maybe it is that. I'm not saying it's not. But from the outside looking in, I feel a bit sorry for Finlay, because I know he's desperate to play. I know he's desperate to play well. I know he's desperate to get into this Rangers first team, and he really wants to make his mark in it. And I think he's been unlucky. Because I don't every time he's come on the park, he's made a difference. Just about.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's scored in what, roughly every other appearance he's made. You know, he's come on off the bench, as you say, and he has made impacts and made differences. I would be so frustrated if I was Finlay Curtis and sitting there thinking, what more does I need to do to actually get started in this team? Because there was a period of time early on in the campaign, he was the only one regularly scoring. You know, when he scored those sort of 4 goals in 7 or 8 matches early in the campaign, including the pre-season one, of course, against Middlesbrough, nobody else was was in that kind of form. He found form, and you could see the confidence when he was on the park. And for some reason, Russell Martin has decided that he's just not going to be starting him. And I get that Finlay Curtis is a young lad. I understand that. But, we need to get out of this mindset, as do our managers, of let's not play young lads just because they're young. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and Finlay Curtis has proven he's good enough. And so we need to give him that opportunity. Because they can make all the difference. I don't like to overly dwell on them or point it out, but last night, Celtic had the young lad Donovan at the back for them, and he had an outstanding game in defence for them. Now that to me is, shows you, just as an example, even for this country, regardless of the fact it's for them, that you can give your young lads a chance and they can absolutely step up. Listen, if he gets it wrong and Curtis comes on and he's not playing well, then fine, he's going to have to change it. But I just don't see that would happen. So I'm disappointed for Curtis. I really, really am.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for him as well. And obviously, Ant-Man showed a wee bit against Hibs. It was one kind of mazy run. Let's be honest, it was nothing it was nothing phenomenal. It wasn't like he came on and really turned the game and played phenomenal. But he had one decent run where you thought, right, he's got something. And Moore didn't really show anything, which is why I'm a little bit confused. But if Mikey Moore shuts us all up tonight and comes on and starts the game and plays phenomenal, gets a goal, gets an assist or whatever, or really affects the game, then absolutely fair play to the young lad. The midfield free corner. Raskin was that was the first name on the team sheet, surely, was Nico Raskin. Diamande and Asgard. And the question that I asked you before we started was, do we need to see something? I'm not saying he has to be the best player on the park, right? But do we need to see something tonight from Asgard?
Yes. And is the long and short of it, yeah, we do. Again, he's had multiple opportunities, multiple starts now as well. He needs to start giving us something. Now, by the way, I accept that in one of those starts against St Mirren, he was played through the middle as a striker, which is absolutely not his position. So I can give him a bit of a pass for that, albeit he had a gilt-edged chance in that game that he should have took. Despite the fact that he's not a striker. But again, as I say, we can give him a pass for that. The rest of the time, however, he's been played in what is supposed to be a more natural position for him in the midfield. And I've not seen enough. I said it before we come on air. I think his hold-up play at times can be really, really good. He can keep the ball at his feet. And I like that. That's important. The problem is when it then comes to that next bit, when it comes to him having to pick his head up and find a pass, find one, a teammate in space, his distribution not good enough. It needs to be better. And again, he's not the only one, but I just think his distribution needs improving. And if we don't start seeing those things from him, then people are going to really start to ask questions, and I'm going to start to say, hold on a minute, is he failing? What's going on? Why is he not? And I think Null has made a great point. He's failed to be incisive. That's exactly the summing up for me. I need certainly a bit ponderous. But Martin with a Y. Don't know how you feel about that personally, Martin, but that's not how you spell it.
Incorrect spelling. Incorrect.
But he's right. Again, he will get more games, and hopefully we'll see him improving. But you need to start seeing that soon. Think about it. We're almost into October. These guys, including Asgard now, have had at least 2 months, really, or the best part of 2 months. Asgard is, I grant you, maybe 7 weeks because he's injured, but they've had time now together to gel as a team, and surely, particularly Asgard, has had plenty of starts now that we should be starting to expect to see some improvements.
I do absolutely think we have got a player in Asgard. You don't play
Agreed.
for Norway if you're a bad player. You don't score 4 goals in a game if you're a bad player. I would just like to maybe see more out of him in a Rangers shirt. However, I don't know if it's down to the position or the instructions that Russell Martin's given him and asking him to play might have something to do with it. I don't know. But I would just like to start seeing a little bit more, because you can see the quality that he's got when he's on the ball. I would just like to see him start to show that a little bit more. We don't really necessarily need to worry about Diamande in these games, Connor, do we?
No, I don't think we do. The one thing about Diamande is, he will turn up. He will absolutely give you everything he's got. He's a bit messy at times. We all know that. He's a bit of a clumsy player sometimes, but he somehow manages to come hell or high water, keep a hold of that ball quite a lot of the time, and he can be a difference maker for us. But again, Diamande is somebody who I really like, and I'm I think he's a real player. My only criticism of him, and it's just a slight one, I'd like him to score more goals. I don't think he scores enough for his position, and I know he's not. His position isn't necessarily to be a goal scorer, but when you're playing in that midfield and that attacking midfield, all in particular, and you're going out and into the wings, he does get moments, and you just think, can he get a couple more goals, maybe a couple more assists to his names? Because he's usually, when we score a goal, Diamande is usually involved somewhere in the build-up, but it's not often that it's directly involved in the goal, whether it's an assist or a goal itself.
And Raskin in the back five sort of picked himself, Connor, let's be honest. I mean, but I don't really think we need to have much of a discussion about Raskin. He's against a team from his home country. I think he'll be up for it. I think he should perform to the quality that we know that he's got. The back five, I mean, we wouldn't be having this discussion last season, but Tav's a nailed-on starter now. Let's be honest, Max Aarons isn't, I don't think, ready to come back into that team. What have you made so far of Cornelius in the short time that you've seen him? And do you feel a lot more confident with Cornelius in the left, Suter on the right?
Well, yeah, I've always preferred Suter on the right, personally. Some people might disagree with that, but I personally have always preferred Suter on the right to that central pairing. Cornelius is interesting because I've not seen an awful lot of him. He obviously has only just really come in the door and played there at the weekend. 100% Jordy. If you've seen the free kick he scored for Canada, get that man on free kicks, because we all due respect to Tav, who at one point, let's not kid ourselves, was unbelievable at times with free kicks. Tav has scored some brilliant free kicks for us in his time. However, it's been noticeable, Martin, over the last year or two, the decline in quality of his free kicks, not just shots but crosses as well. So I'd be all for putting Cornelius on them, and if Russell Martin was sensible, he would do. But yeah, I agree with the Great Wall of Canada there. Cornelius and Suter, I think they are our best pairing. Yeah, I must admit, I
think Great Wall of Canada might be slightly biased.
Maybe. But if Cornelius starts to show what we suspect is in there, then I don't see why it wouldn't be. Because Giga, for me, at times, he can be good, but he's also panic stations too often for me. And he you can't have that. He needs to calm down. And maybe just having extra bodies in there that cover, and he can build up in training and stuff, and he can start to see a calmer play, because he's still a young man, so yeah, I agree with that. And obviously, yeah, as you say, Raskin speaks for itself, and McCollum and Taver are the obvious choices. I mean, it tells you a lot about Max Aarons. He's not even in the squad anymore, which I have some sympathy for him. I really do, because by no means can you label all the blame at his door for the failings that have happened at the start of this season and the poor results we've had, and I don't think anybody has tried to. But it's been clear, despite the fact that he is seemingly, from what we're told, again, we keep getting told that these guys are talented players coming to us from down south. It's been clear so far he's been a bit out of his depth. He has never looked comfortable. And it's unfortunate, because we need desperately somebody to come in for Tav. But do you know what's good?
He is suspended, Connor.
Yeah, I know he's suspended, but what I mean is he's not coming into that starting lineup even when he gets unsuspended, in my opinion. And maybe he needs to get himself back up to speed. I know he's suspended. My point is he's not going to get back into the squad straight away. But yes, you're right to correct me, dear faithful viewers. But do you know what might help him? See when Dujon Sterling gets back, because he's a natural fit in that position as well. That might be an extra body to push Aarons to start improving, because I tell you, I'd love a Dujon Sterling in this squad right now. You know, a man for all seasons, basically. Put him anywhere, he'll do you a job. Sometimes you need a bit of that. And so hopefully he'll come back soon. But yeah, I think the back line is probably the easiest decision Russell Martin's had to make in his Rangers career so far.
Yeah, let's get a bit of positivity going then, Connor. We have a real chance tonight. If you look at the fixtures that we've got, it's not the hardest fixtures we've ever had in the Europa League. Let's be honest. There's some tough teams in there, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's not the hardest route we've ever had to get out in the top 8 or even make the playoff. We've got an opportunity tonight against a team, albeit we haven't started well, but a team that has not started their season well either. After the win against Hibs, regardless of how good or bad you think the performance was, we've got a real opportunity tonight, Connor, to put our foot down, have a really good performance, get a really good win, and build up more confidence going into Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about right now. And I agree, by the way. We've got a really, really good opportunity when you look at the teams we've got. And the thing is, this Rangers team, we're used to Rangers turning up in Europe. And so this is why it's always difficult to make judgments on nights like this, because Rangers, for how many years now, Martin, have been pants domestically, but able to turn it on a Thursday night in the Europa League and really show a good bit of mettle and dig out good results. And I think it's, which is mental, right? So I would not be surprised either way. And we've got, Great Wall saying there, Genk narrowly lost to USG and Bridge. I don't think we're suggesting it's going to be easy, but it is a more favourable draw. When you compare the draw we've got this year to the draw we had last season, everybody in their dug had to tell you last year that our draw was basically a Champions League draw, but within the Europa League. It was harder than what Celtic got in the Champions League, which shows you how good the quality of the Europa League was last year, but it's not as good this year, so there should be an opportunity to go far. And I'm telling you, with them being in the Europa League as well, I think that's an added bit for us to...
An added incentive, absolutely.
It has to be. And I tell you something, Martin, they spent the last number of years, their fans with utter derision and totally detracting for any Rangers achievements in the Europa League in the last couple of years, including getting to the final, because they said that the Europa League is easy. It's not the Champions League, so it doesn't count. Well, they found out last night, Martin, just how easy the Europa League is, and particularly away from home in games like that. So I think maybe, even their own manager said it last night, maybe that realism can kick in for them, because we might have made it look easy, is my point, but it certainly never has been, and it won't be this season either. But get a win tonight, build to Sunday, and happy days, hopefully.
All I care about is us winning, and if we win tonight, it's important to win your home games as well. Let's not forget that. In Europe, it's massively important to win your home games. But folks, we will leave it there, because in about 5 minutes' time, maybe 10 minutes' time, Big High Tower will be with you for your watch along. So please make sure that you do tune in to that. Connor, mate, thank you very much.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Please make sure before you go that you do leave a like and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube, if you haven't done so already. And make sure you follow us across all socials, the links for which are in the description. So, Connor, just before I play the outro, give me your prediction for tonight.
And yeah, by the way, somebody pointed out, Genk have got a former Celtic striker starting. I know, I didn't realise that. Just seen the comment.
Oh, no, they
don't. But my prediction for tonight, 3-1 Rangers.
First goal scorer.
Chermiti.
Love it.
Not a bit of work done to him, unlike Martin JD Mines doesn't get work done.
Not a bit of work done to mine. I'm just extremely handsome. I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers, Chermiti, and then Raskin. That's what I'm going to go. Right, folks, go and enjoy the game. Make sure that you join Alex along with for the watch along as well, if you are a channel member. If you're not and you want to join Alex, click the link in the description. The watch along will be available on both YouTube and Patreon, so make sure you tune in for that. Connor, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in, and we shall speak to you about 5 or 10 minutes after the game.